week's episode of Stardust Crusaders continues to remind you that this series is a product of the 1980s, with its ridiculous character designs, its incredibly over-the-top and sometimes not even needed brutal and gory action scenes, and the fact that they just love pulling a lot of references from classic horror films. In last week's episode, we saw that they were doing a big homage to the Child's Play film series, and this week it seems like the stand user is taking some pages from John Carpenter's The Thing and The Blob, which both happen to be horror remakes in and of themselves, but that's a video for another time. This week's episode was basically just a big creepy action fest where Jotaro got to fight against a brand new stand user who was taking on the form of Noriaki Kakyoin. This was something that was hinted at last week, and it was pretty apparent because the dude's eating beetles, he's got creepy faces, he's doing this weird little blah, 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 tongue thing, and he's even breaking this one bum's back Bane style, which is actually pretty awesome, but really violent, and like I said, it didn't need to be that violent, but it's there and it's ridiculous. Like I said, this really is just like a big 80s horror action film. It's basically like RoboCop on crack, and I'm not talking about that shitty remake. So let's get back on track here. This brand new stand user, the Yellow Temperance, that's what the stand is called, it takes on the form of this yellowish blob, which is literally able to copy someone's appearance, or it can actually digest someone directly. Like I said, it reminds me of The Thing. It can take them in and replicate them at the same time. And this is a really powerful stand. Even Jotaro has a big problem trying to figure out how he's going to get away from this. He has a little bit of the blob stuck to his finger. He tries to burn it away. That just makes it expand. He tries to freeze it with a popsicle. That just makes it, like, get into his hand even more. There's a great scene where he's jumping from cable car to cable car, and he goes into this one where there's this one creepy lady who obviously is the Yellow Temperance, and she starts to take over this dog's body, which is just sitting there right in the cable car. Like, her dress is transforming into the digestive juices, and it starts to kill the dog, and it's really violent and just messed up as shit, because this kid is watching it, and now he's going to be completely scarred for life when he sees this shit. But Jotaro, again, comes up with an amazing plan to beat this guy, where essentially he drags him into the ocean, and essentially he just overpowers him. He lets him know that if he's going to kill him, he's not actually going to be able to use his stand ability. But he actually gets a little bit of information out of this guy, which is probably the most important thing about this week's episode, is he gets to learn a little bit more about Dio and his assassins, which are coming after them. In particular, there's that one double right-handed man who goes by the name of Centerfold. This is the guy who actually killed Polnareff's sister, so this is a pretty big deal. And then it just sort of cuts to them traveling to India via train, with Kakyoin doing this really funny bit where he asks for a cherry and does the same, like, blah, 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 blah thing that the weird, freaky, fake Kakyoin was doing, and this just puts a nice little smile on Jotaro's face, which is interesting, because you don't really see that guy smile too often. So, what's the rundown on this week's episode of Stardust Crusaders? I liked it. It was very strange and very similar to last week's episode, where a single member of Jotaro's group was singled out and attacked by a stand user with a weird, freaky power, which can actually be related to a horror film franchise. I liked it. I thought this episode was really messed up at times, especially the scene when Kakyoin was, like, breaking the guy's back, and especially the scene when Yellow Temperance took on the form of the lady and was just killing the dog right in front of everybody. That's really messed up. If it's like any horror film, if the dog dies, everybody gets upset. Nobody gives a shit about the people or what happens to them. What about the puppy, damn it? Otherwise, the animation and the artwork this week was pretty good. There were some scenes that were, you know, they didn't really need to be censored, like the scene where Jotaro punched the Yellow Temperance guy for the first time, and they blacked out the entire area where his jaw was broken. It's like, we know what's going on there. This is a series that airs late in Japan. What's the deal with all the freaking censorship? I don't understand, but it's just a minor complaint. This is something that will not even mean anything when the DVDs come out, because they're going to be completely uncut. So everything was great this week, a little disturbing at times, sometimes funny and goofy, and it was awesome finally getting to see Jotaro doing some more cool shit, because he is the main character and his Star Platinum is pretty damn badass. So if you're continuing to follow the series, make sure and check this one out. It's not the best episode of the series, it's just sort of, you know, getting to show a little bit more of what Jotaro is capable of in these crazy situations, and just to let us know that the stakes are going to be raised a little bit higher from this point. It looks like the last couple assassins that are going to belong to Dio are probably going to be pretty damn dangerous, so I can't wait to see what they're going to do with that. So, cool episode for me, a little slow in some parts, so I'm going to give this week's episode an 8 out of 10, but you should definitely check it out, and if you haven't even checked out the series yet, What the hell is wrong with you? Check it out. This series kicks ass, guys. 8 out of 10. Good episode. If you guys checked out this week's episode of Stardust Crusaders, I would love to hear your thoughts about it. You can tell me with your comments below. You can tell me about your favorite moments, maybe some things you didn't care for. What do you think is going to happen in the future of Stardust Crusaders? Remember, guys, before you leave, like button, hit it. Helps out our videos a lot. Remember to subscribe to the channel as well so you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews. We're doing a ton of them. It's ridiculous. You can also check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. I'll put links to those in the description box below. Also, if you guys would like, you can also donate directly to Super Kami Guru 9000. So guys, I will see you next time. Super Kami Guru 9000. Out.